Well, this is an easy one. Speed is just how fast you are going. Job done. Let's knock off early today, shall we? I will see you next time. But hold your horses there, young fella, my lad/lady. What about velocity and momentum? What are those? And haven't we just made the classic mistake of just saying a word that sounds like the same thing instead of actually explaining it? Like if someone was to ask you, who farted? And you say, someone, and it just doesn't give them any information, and you are now clearly the chief suspect. One thing is for certain, we didn't always know what speed was. We knew that when a T-Rex was running towards our cave, we had barely enough time to fill our pants, run and tell Ugg the Gullible that running towards the T-Rex was the last thing he would expect. But we didn't know whether Ugg the Gullible was going to be quick enough to be one of T-Rex's 5 a day. We needed to work out the speed. So who sat down one day and said to themselves, enough people have been eaten by T-Rexes, we need to properly figure out what the speed is. It was 360-ish BC, and the person was the Greek philosopher Eudoxus of Cnidus. He did all the usual things the ancient Greeks did, which was mostly argue with people. One of his favourite things was that any good you can think of would be better if pleasure were added to it. Enough said, can't argue with that. And the thing that gave Eudoxus pleasure the most was dividing one thing by another. Oh, you crazy Greek philosopher, you. After telling his fellow philosophers to divide their butt cheeks and shove their head up there, he sat down and thought about the T-Rexes and wrote that speed is the distance you go divided by the time it takes. This is where the word per comes from, and why we hear miles a distance, per hour a time. A T-Rex at full pelt might run 20 miles if it ran for a full hour, so 20 miles per hour. If it took 2 hours, it would go 10 miles per hour, and so on. If Eudoxus could run 4 miles per hour, and the T-Rex could run 20 miles per hour, sometime during that hour, nom nom nom, one happy little T-Rex, burp. And you can swap that round. That is some maths that loves to be messed with. Time it takes to go somewhere, just the speed divided by the distance. The distance to somewhere, the speed times the time. And velocity is a whole city made for French bicycles. And that wraps it up. Hold on. Nope. It's not that at all, but it is also not quite the same as speed either. Popular loon scientist Isaac Newton, a ton of years later, came up with the idea that speed can include which direction you are going. Forward being positive, like getting away from our friend the T-Rex, but how about if Eudoxus was running towards the T-Rex because, I don't know, he wanted to sketch him or pull faces at it or just likes a challenge? His velocity would be negative. It's the same maths, just if you move forward it's plus and move backwards it's minus. Something that Ugg the Gullible could have done with knowing, perhaps. Adding minus signs to things was not the thing that gave Isaac Newton pleasure, though. His thing was trying to turn things into gold using magic. Yeah, that's old Isaac for you, gullible as poor old Ugg. Velocities are useful as you can add them together. You're being chased in a car by a T-Rex and you've got Ugg the Gullible navigating for you. Max speed for you is 20 miles per hour, but the T-Rex is really hungry and is running at 30 miles per hour. Uh-oh, but Ugg has brought his roller skates, so you can throw him out the back at 5 miles per hour. Take 5 from 20 and Ugg is moving at 15 miles per hour, but still forwards. This will give you enough time to get away and tell everyone how you tried to save Ugg and receive medals and applause for your bravery. Momentum is a tricky one, but is not, apparently, something you take to calm an unruly stomach. It's the velocity you're going, but includes how heavy the thing is. It's the velocity multiplied by the mass. But why is that of any use, Isaac? Well, if we're in a car with Eudoxus heading back to Cnidus, with the T-Rex chasing us, and we throw him out the back, we have to take into account how heavy he is as we do it. Remember, the guy's got a massive brain, about the same weight as a car. We were going 20 miles an hour, but when we push him out the back, the total momentum has to stay the same. Since he loses momentum as we throw him out the back on his skates, we gain it going forwards. We throw him out the back at 5 miles an hour with his brain, he's at 15 miles an hour, so we go up to 25 miles an hour. So by sacrificing Eudoxus, we can get there safe and sound. What was that? Where's Eudoxus? No idea. Honestly.